to see will shock you. No camera tricks, no special effects. Nothing but incredible moments from the heroic to the tragic on Wild and Crazy, Caught on Tape, Location Russia. And dorky behavior doesn't have to be limited to out-of-season sports. Weddings are an excellent source of the stuff. In Ivanovo, the city of brides, it was the second day of a non-stop wedding party. Here, the couple and a few oddly dressed guests decide to take a little stroll. A motorcyclist and his friend in the sidecar arrive only to drive by the bridal group and smash into the lawn of the house up ahead. The motorcyclist was either so frightened by the bride's appearance, or so drunk, or both, that he crashed and rolled the bike over. In a few minutes, the festivities continued, and the cyclists were left to occupy themselves with some much-needed repairs. And this is how to play rugby with the new bride. Grab, run, and smash some windows, and tackle. Hi, my name is Yuri, the Wonder Chimp.
Hi, Yuri!
And I have a drinking problem. Well, it's not every day you see a chimp knocking back the hooch in a tree in the middle of the city. Then again, this isn't just any ordinary beer-loving ape. He's a trained circus chimp who escaped to this park where his handlers tried everything they could think of to get him to come back down into his cage. They then remembered that he had a weakness for alcohol, and they exploited that weakness for the better part of the afternoon.
I started with fermented bananas, and things just got out of control. And now I'm in a tree.
It's a sad monkey story, one we've seen all too often. Luring him with hooch, they got him progressively schnockered and almost into his cage. Then, through patience and several more swigs, success. This next video should be made available to anyone who wants to go horseback riding without a helmet. Without one, this rider's head would have looked more like a burst piñata, spilling out gloopy gray porridge instead of candy. And here we have a brave, if foolhardy soul who attaches himself to a car with a cable and goes, let's call it power sledding, right into a little old lady walking down the street. A particularly ferocious little old lady from the looks of it.
I'll give you a power sledding, Sonny!
In a town in western Russia, a young elk fell down into an open sewer. Fortunately, he didn't break anything. Unfortunately, he's stuck standing in, sewer material. That's gotta smell great. Hey, what's that scent you're wearing? Oh, that's my new cologne, Musk Dew Russian sewer system. The crane arrives at the scene. To avoid too much trouble, the rescue team shoots a number of tranquilizer darts into his flank. Tranquilized or just naturally mellow, the team wraps cables around him and hoists him into the air. Amazingly, the little elk doesn't resist at all. He seems to understand that the people are there trying to help him. Hey, thanks, folks. How's everybody doing tonight, all right? Please, tip the waitstaff. Thank you. Once down, he manages to free himself and heads for the woods. He probably couldn't wait to get back to his family. They, on the other hand, might have lobbied for a hot shower first. Coming up, very risky alpine skiing. Hey, that sounded like an avalanche! Skateboarding, ouch! And getting wasted and falling off monuments. All this and much more on Wild and Crazy, Caught on Tape, Location Russia. Oh, the stories these rescue teams could tell. People getting stuck in ventilation shafts, toilets, you name it. This guy got stuck in the stairway grating just outside his apartment. On his way home from a party, he dropped his golden cigarette lighter and tried to reach it through the iron banister. Of course, he could have just gone down the steps to get it, but really, where's the challenge there? The inebriated stair climber was finally pulled out, safe and sound. The stairway ironwork was another story. We're guessing he had a rather lengthy conversation with the building manager about that little topic. Searching for that elusive adrenaline rush, serious skiers and snowboarders head to high backcountry slopes, ungroomed virgin snow that lies mostly above the tree line. The skiing is amazing, but perhaps because there are few trees to anchor the snow, these types of slopes tend to be prone to avalanche. And once that snow gets going, get out of its way and get out fast. This much snow will easily sweep away anything and anyone in its path. This skier got lucky. He ended up just a few feet away on the riverbank, if you will, while the river of snow rushed on down the hill. Relieved, to put it mildly, he lives to ski another day. And here's a similar ski story. Again, a thrill seeker is skiing a remote high backcountry glade when, all of a sudden, the entire slope under his feet starts rushing towards the gap, carrying a massive amount of snow and at least one terrified skier with it. At the very last moment, the lucky skier also manages to cheat death, this time by grabbing onto a small ledge. After this, he wasn't taking any more chances. He stayed put and was eventually evacuated by helicopter. In this video, pro skateboarder Fyodor Shurkovsky shows off a few standard moves as well as some more complicated maneuvers. Of course, they can't all be perfect, and when he wipes out, he tends to pop back up and continue the show. That is, until this fall. It wasn't a particularly difficult trick, yet when he came down, that arm took the brunt of the force and took it in a sickening way. That's hard to look at. He's taking it well, though. Not only does it hurt, but he's got to be disappointed that he'll be missing all that board time in the next 6 weeks or so. The ambulance comes and they take some x-rays. And sure enough, you don't need to be a radiologist to know that that's a break, all right. The famous high-wire performer Adam Vizitayev and his crew have trained for 2 years to set a new world record. They chose the dangerous Korodak Ravine for its rugged beauty and its immense height. They'll try to walk the cable at a height of almost 600 feet. No one has ever successfully attempted such a complicated feat in nature before. The tightrope is about 90 feet long, and he's doing it all without a net. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an official world record. Obviously, it goes without saying that a fall here, any wrong move really, would be the equivalent of a death sentence. But he seems confident, and so far, everything's going according to plan. He even decides to try and do a somersault, and makes a mistake, and nearly pays the ultimate price for it. It looks like the cameraman may wind up with a perfect shot of a tragedy. Will he manage to grab the cable? Take a look, and we'll find out. Pulling himself together and up onto his feet, he manages not only to stand back on the rope, but to successfully finish the stunt. The public greets the new world record with a standing ovation, as relieved as they are excited. This girl from St. Petersburg seems to have a little bit of an Anna Karenina complex. Unlike her fictitious heroine, she lays on the tracks just to get a self-prescribed dose of adrenaline. A large commuter train rushes through and directly over her as she lays prone in between the rails. Perhaps a different train might give us a totally different result. Let's hope we don't have to find out. And again, we can't stress this enough, although this time she's all smiles. Please, don't try this at home. And while we're talking about things not to do at home, here's another perfectly good example. A drunk ambulance driver decided to celebrate Victory Day his way by climbing this enormous Victory Monument. That's a pretty huge statue, and he's right at the top of it. Tsar Peter, I can see your house from up here. But the metal monument is rather slippery. Going up is one thing, climbing down is, unfortunately, another. Here, it may be dawning on him that he seems to have chosen the wrong way down. It's not like there are a lot of footholds on this thing. Perhaps realizing this, he tries to climb back up onto the body of the horse. But with all the extra effort, and one would imagine a fair amount of partying beforehand, he's worn himself out. Then, before the stunned crowd, he loses his grip and falls like a rag doll onto the concrete base of the statue and then onto the hard ground below. Ambulance crews were able to save the ambulance driver's life, but he spent a long time recuperating from several fractures and a very serious head and neck injury. And here's another outrageous story. One spring day, some Moscow shop employees noticed a naked, bearded man hiding in the trees, thus giving new meaning to the term urban jungle. When the rescue crew arrived, they decided to use a jet of cold water to drive our nature boy back to the ground. This seemed to wake Tarzan up a bit. He started moving about, acting oddly. Well, more oddly. Clearly, old nudie boy here is, well, let's just say he's a few beers shy of a six-pack. Our Tarzan apparently liked the attention he was getting. Look, he's enjoying flirting with the rescuers. And/or playing a friendly game of peekaboo. This would probably be really cute if he were, say, 3 years old. This rescuer is saying being a Mowgli is a full-time job.
Есть такая профессия – Маугли.
Finally, the modern-day Mowgli decided to give himself up. He slowly made his way down the tree. End of story, right? What do you think? Oh no, he swings off a branch for a while, you know, like a good Tarzan should. And then, as casually as a naked guy in Moscow can stroll, he quickly strolled away and somehow disappeared into the canopy layer of the urban jungle and was never heard from again. Probably slipped back into that suit and went back to work at the bank. Go figure. On our next program,